Taurus, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for November 14th to the 20th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this channel is about using the actual constellations in the sky, known as Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different, which means your sign might be different, and you'll want to watch this for the right sign. All right, Taurus, so this week, very active week, I think, in the astrology, essentially coming right into it. We have a full moon. And this is a full moon in your sign. So a status check and a status check of your overall life. You know, it's your first house. This is about you. This is about your personal needs and your independence. How's that going? Because roughly about 6 months ago, you started something new having to do with you, your personal needs, and your independence. And so now it's the halfway point, the status check of the full moon, which is a really good time to evaluate it, see what's working for you, and continue with what is working in your life and with yourself and those personal needs, your goals, and what's not. And let go of what's not, you know, because the full moon, usually there's some sort of detachment, some sort of separation. And the more willing we are to let go of, let's say, those plants that grew these past 6 months, they didn't bear as much fruit or they didn't bear any fruit. It's good to remove them or just allow them to die off so we don't have to keep giving them as much maintenance. So we can free up our time, so to speak, and our energy. So putting energy into what is working for you, okay? And again, a lot of it is about those goals and stuff. Now, this full moon is also going to be very close to your 12th house. And so a lot of this is also about the fact that it's a very receptive time and to maybe evaluate your life in terms of, is there peace? Is there tranquility? Do you feel calm? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel at peace with life? And chances are some areas are yes, most certainly, because again, it's a high point with that, but also some areas are not. And so again, continue to cultivate what is. It's a really good time to get into psychology, get into spirituality. If it's yoga, meditation, things like this can come easier during this time. And I think it's a great time to continuously develop that spiritual side to yourself, however you do that. And it may not be activity. Sometimes it's simply just getting rest or relaxation or whatever it might be. Now, your ruler Venus has recently shifted into the 8th house. So things I think are going to continue to be quite meaningful or quite deep. Maybe it's in relationships, but just with you in general, you know, it's a really good time to be, again, in the psychological world of things, in the spiritual world of things, and it being your ruler with you. And in many ways, with this full moon, this status check of how is intimacy with life? You know, are you intimate with life? Do you have that openness, right? Are you connecting to what really matters? And again, that's part of the status check. So continuing with what is, the more willing you are to dive deep, I think right now is excellent. I think you are willing to, which is good. I think you are willing to be open and vulnerable and all these things, which is basically just piercing through the fears and the inhibitions and the anxieties. And again, all the psychological stuff that prevents us from connecting to what truly matters and having that openness. So it's an excellent time for that. I think it's good for not only the spiritual and psychological, but also too, maybe in relationships. You know, openness, vulnerability there. Maybe relying on others a bit, right? This is your 8th house. It's about others' resources. And it's also a good time to remove yourself from any unhealthy bonds, unhealthy attachments you might have. That's already been an ongoing theme with Pluto transiting the 8th, such as debts or chains, things that are holding you back either materially or internally, and making the changes to cultivate a more freer sense of your life. So you are connecting to what matters and you're not bound to anything on fear or on inhibition. Okay, but you could have some opportunities here to maybe continue to cultivate a bit of these others resources. Seeing that opportunity, I think, could be healthy, generally speaking, with balance and with moderation. All right, so that's the full moon this week. As you can see here, there is this sort of pivotal time. Actually, it's a very pivotal time here around Thursday when we have Neptune conjoining the South Node. I've been talking a lot about this. And this is the unhealthy ideals and the unhealthy patterns that are being released collectively. Okay, this is that conjunction. It's about the overemphasis of Neptune, which might be very idealistic or dreamy or illusory. And it's also the under extreme, which might be lethargy or not enough action. And now this is all happening in your 10th house of career. So this week, along with the status check of the areas I just mentioned, making change here with your career, making change with your productive life. Something needs to change to bring more healthy balance to this. And it may be the, again, over extreme of Neptune, which might be over idealistic about it, or maybe the under extreme of being too escapism about it. In other words, not taking the action, being too lethargic or too, complacent with it. All right, these are unhealthy qualities of Neptune. What you want to bring here to balance is you want to bring in the acceptance of how things are in your career, connect to the present moment in your career, and continue to cultivate a career that is truly meaningful to you, because this is what Neptune in the 10th house really shows, is how you can make your career more in alignment with your soul, with your essence, something you can do on a daily level that it gives you that peace and tranquility because it's something that you connect to, and you do have the faith and acceptance because you enjoy it, and it wouldn't be any other way. So I'm not saying it's going to be a major time of change for your career. I mean, obviously not. There's so many who are watching who have a Taurus ascendant or sun or moon, but maybe at least some minor change. I think it's a really good time to make some minor changes, maybe some of you major changes, so that you can have, again, this connection, this spiritual connection to what you do on that productive level. All right, so that's going to be the most important conjunction this week. I do want to mention leading up to it, though, we do have Mercury sextiling up to Mars this first half, so there's a bit of opportunity here. And a lot of this is, I think, about connecting to your adventurous side right now. You know, Mars in your 9th house is helping you get adventurous. And that might be quite literally, you know, through walking or hikes or travel, things like that. But it's also internal in the sense that it's a great time to be reading philosophy, be doing spiritual activities, just basically opening up your mind to possibilities and putting energy into your belief systems. And again, it can be very empowering. You know, Mars does like to be at the top of the chart in the 9th house, and he's exalted right now in Capricorn. So it's a very good placement there for all these more expansive things. Some of you university, I want to mention that too. So anyways, it's sort of opening here to open your mind, change those beliefs, not really change, but continue to cultivate those belief systems that you feel like are motivating, are driving, and putting energy into that. And this could have to do with relationships. Maybe there's some relationship opportunities here around Tuesday. Mercury's in your 9th house. You could be thinking more, communicating more in them, exchanging ideas, which is great. Saturn's here, though, making sure you're taking all the relationship stuff seriously. And I think that's good, right? It may not be easy on some regard, depends on your personal chart, because usually Saturn's the limitation, but through our own challenge, through challenging ourselves to build relationships, to cultivate them in a grounded and healthy way is exactly what Saturn in the 7th is all about. And in fact, Saturn does not mind being in the 7th house. It's his best strength, in fact. All right, you could even be noticing things continuing with the career because Saturn's making his way to the top of the chart. You know, this year, maybe noticing a bit of progress, and you'll notice more of it if not. So anyways, sextile there, easy energy, or at least just an opening for some energy there with relationships, and then again, the expansive view of things. And then Thursday, that conjunction with these past patterns being released, these changes being made with the career, with the productive life. Mercury will then be squaring up to that, in fact, in a T-square with the North Node as well. And so if the mind gets in the way with these changes, be aware of it. You know, it could be something like that. Or maybe you have to take some initiative here with the routine or getting some things moving on a daily level. That might be uncomfortable, but it's necessary for these changes. Okay, that's the square from Mercury. And maybe something to integrate with relationships. Maybe, again, something to build there, something to put some energy into. That might be the key to all of this. But I would say the key is mostly the fact that this is also, you can be connecting to your roots right now. You know, the North Node in the 4th house is about you really connecting to your roots. And what I mean by that is it could be home for some of you, your location. It might be your family, but it might be your health even for a lot of you. But all in all, I think just connecting to your essence, connecting to your being in the sense of being rooted and reflecting on things, learning more about where you come from, who you are, your past, and all this stuff. This is really the focal point of the year and really next year, which is all this positive energy moving towards your 4th house. Okay, but in order to have good home life, good family life, yes, we have to make some changes with the career. We have to put energy into the career because we can't have one without the other. Or it doesn't have to be career for profit, anything productive that you do. All right, so that's the square from Mercury. Now the conjunction's not all that bad. Venus is actually going to be sextiling up to that conjunction here on Saturday. So there's this sort of opening, and especially with you being your ruler, maybe there's just this new opportunity of, again, connecting to what really matters. A bit of depth, openness maybe to bring into the career or whatever it might be there, productive life. And again, the routine, I think there could be an opportunity to get some of that time and energy management involved into that as well. Okay, but in either case, very easy here. Could be connecting to it, something you're seeing. In fact, there's definitely a shift this weekend. Neptune is going to go station direct right after this conjunction, which means, yes, things are changing, things are shifting for you in the career front, especially if you've been noticing the past 6 months, maybe it's been a bit more on the back burner or hasn't been moving, or you've been reworking or revisiting things with it. So it's moving forward now, and that's good. And I think it's about, again, healthy ideals, healthy connection, healthy presence in your work, in your career. And that's the name of the game. Now, do give it time. Neptune's a very slow-moving planet, so it'll take a few weeks really for that momentum to build. But I think things are definitely shifting, and I think it certainly could be with whatever is changing this week in regards to those patterns I was talking about. Okay, the bringing balance back to this area so you have healthy connectivity there. All right, so that's the week in a nutshell, Taurus. The way I would sum this up is at the beginning, there's a full moon in your sign. It's the status check of the year. I believe you'll have another one too. I believe the next full moon's in Taurus, but don't quote me on that. But anyways, it's a status check. It's a good time to examine your life. Do you have independence? I'm sure at this point you do. Do you have... are you cultivating your goals? Do you have these personal needs? Are you clear on your personal needs? Are you clear on what you want? And on some levels, yes. On some levels, no. Get clear right now. This is the time of the year to do that. So for the next 6 months and beyond, you can really be cultivating those things that are important to you. And remember, too, that this is also about having peace in life, tranquility, and rest, and all this. Very important. Then Venus in the 8th house, it's a time of openness, intimacy, vulnerability with life, with relationships, and with yourself. All right, so Taurus, have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week.